Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in here. My name is Elizabeth, the Education Coordinator for Marlene's Market and Deli. This afternoon's special guest that we have with us is Ariane Chenard. She is a local Ayurveda health counselor, and she is located at Puget Sound Family Health, a wonderful local clinic. And we are always so honored to have you with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna get started with my screen here. Okay. As Elizabeth said, if you have any question, you can post that in the chat, or we can. Okay, I can't for some reason. Oops, I can go back. Okay, yes. You can post your question in the chat and I'll be happy to answer at the end. Welcome everyone for this presentation on seasonal comfort with Ayurveda. My name is Ariane Chenard, or you can call me Ariane. And as Elizabeth told you, I'm an Ayurveda health counselor, and you can find me at Puget Sound Family Health here in downtown Tacoma, or through my website, elementsofayurveda.com. I offer one-on-one Ayurvedic consultations, and also I offer a program that's called Seeking Balance, a year-long Ayurvedic journey. And it's really to start learning basic Ayurvedic concepts along with the season over the course of 1 year to get a good basic knowledge of Ayurveda, but not very intensive, more like adapted to your lifestyle and your routine and the seasons. And talking about the season, this is what we're going to be talking about today. You are at the right place if you have some struggles adapting to the change of season. Maybe for you, it's a little bit of depression or anxiety. It can depend on who you are, how you react, the season, and we'll be talking about that. And also, if you just want to understand better how seasons affect you, your body and mind, this is the right place for you today. We'll talk about when you are most vulnerable and how the seasons affect you, and how you can help yourself adjust to the season, help your body adjust, and hopefully make the transition easier and overall maintain balance and health. That's the whole goal with Ayurveda. The plan for today's presentation is a brief introduction of Ayurveda. Not everyone is familiar with this system of medicine. And I'll introduce a few basic principles of Ayurveda, nothing very complicated, and you'll understand them, I'm sure, very rapidly because they are very natural and logical concepts that we practice maybe without being aware of in our daily lives. Second part will be talking about the season. That's what we are interested in doing today. There are three real seasons in Ayurveda: fall and winter, the cold and either dry or humid season. Spring season is the season that things are going towards a warmer temperature. And summer season, hot season, basically. And at the end, we'll get a little conclusion and question. I'll be happy to answer anything you have concerning the presentation. Ayurveda. What is Ayurveda? The name itself is a Sanskrit name. It means the science of life and longevity. It's a really old science. It's over 5,000 years old. It originated in India. And it's a constant search for balance with diet and lifestyle. It's really how to, like, even if you don't do anything, your body does its thing and maintains homeostasis with its processes and things. But Ayurveda, it's the idea of consciously making choices in your diet and lifestyle that will help your body maintain homeostasis, because you can either help your body or hinder it depending on the type of choices that you do. And this is why Ayurveda is a science of habits. We want to take good habits that will be helpful to us to maintain balance, maintain good health, or reclaim our health if we've been in having trouble. It's just as good habits are good for good health, bad habits are going to bring you towards imbalances and possibly developing diseases. And you don't necessarily know a bad habit is a bad habit if the imbalance is very subtle and over weeks and months and years. And then all of a sudden you get diagnosed with a disease, but the course of the disease started a long time ago. And that is what Ayurveda aims at preventing, the development of disease. Ayurveda is a folk medicine. That means everyone can practice Ayurveda. And as you will see, everybody is practicing Ayurveda to some extent and not necessarily knowingly. It's kind of a instinctive science that we do, but it's always useful to actually have a basic knowledge, and that can help us with our choices. So the basic principles that I want to talk about today are the 20 qualities of nature called gunas in Ayurveda. The 5 elements, very briefly, ether, air, fire, water, and earth, and what they mean. The 3 vital energies, or doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha, and the principle that like increases like and opposites balance. Let's start with the qualities of nature. All around you, everything that you see, everything that you perceive, everything that exists, you can qualify it. You can give it some quality. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it dry? Is it moist? And these are used just like, okay, how am I gonna dress today? Is it warm or is it cold? Like you use qualities like that to determine what you will do all the time. And traditional Greek medicine used wet or moist and dry and cold and hot as qualities, just these 4. Ayurveda has 20. If you feel a little overwhelmed, just don't worry, you can simplify that and even just take cold, hot, wet, and dry. And what these qualities of nature are really is a way to understand what is going on in your body, in your environment, what you're feeling more thoroughly. And these qualities of nature, they are organized in pairs of opposites. You'll understand why. And each pair is a measure of something different. And for season and weather and temperature, we want obviously cold and hot and wet and dry qualities. We want to understand that. But I also added heavy and light, which is a measure of weight, because we all know like a heavy gray day with lots of cloud, you find it feels heavy compared to a day with a clear sky, which like the air seems light. So it's kind of a good way to qualify what's going on in the environment for the season. Also, stable and mobile is a measure of movement, activity, or how stimulating something is. And when we're talking about season and temperature and weather, it's useful because stable would be a day where not much is going on compared to mobile, where a day where there's a lot of winds and leaves are moving and there's a lot of stimulation like that. And all these qualities that you can perceive around you will have an impact on you. So qualities of nature, they exist by themselves. And according to Ayurveda, everything like the qualities of nature exist like that, but they define different things. And the 5 elements, ether, air, fire, water, and earth, are what makes matter. Like it's the illustration of matter, different states of matter or energy. And these elements themselves make the 3 doshas, or vital energies. And these doshas are responsible for all processes in our bodies. We all have each 3, but in different proportions, and that is what makes us unique and makes us different, and also makes us more prone to certain types of imbalance compared to our friends or family. Like maybe I have a tendency toward being cold, or someone else is always hot. Like all these, it's different in our constitution. So Vata dosha is really the notion of movement in the body. Movement, respiration, elimination, everything that moves in your body is thanks to Vata dosha. And Vata dosha, being ether and air, has different qualities, different gunas that qualify it. Dry, light, cold are the main ones. Pitta dosha is the only dosha that has heat. Vata and Kapha are cold, Pitta has heat. It's fire and water, oiliness. And it's this idea of transformation, heat, and metabolism. And Vata and Pitta dosha are immaterial dosha. You can't really see them, although Pitta, it's also enzymes and biles and these type of fluids in the body. So that's this idea of, but it's mostly transformation and metabolism, so you don't really see it. While Kapha dosha, it's the material, the structure, nourishment, and growth. So that's everything that you can see, your hair, your teeth, your bones, your skin. This is all Kapha dosha. It's made out of water and ether, and the qualities of Kapha dosha are more heavy, dull in the sense of slow, cold, and stable. Pitta is hot, sharp, and really transformative, and Vata is all movement. This, just keep that in mind, because when the season have the qualities that have more or less of these doshas, that's how you're gonna start feeling different things. And if you are yourself more of a Vata person, you'll be already more prone to Vata imbalances of light, dry, and cold, for example. And if the season brings these qualities as well, that's when you might have more of this type of imbalance. Pitta, it's more heat that is going to create imbalances, and Kapha is heaviness, cold, and stability that might cause imbalance. And this brings me to the other basic principle of Ayurveda that is important, is that likes increase and opposites balance. Just as I said, if you have already an imbalance of cold, for example, if I feel cold and someone offers you an ice cream, naturally you will probably have a tendency to say, no, I'd rather have a hot chocolate. And just by doing that, you would be doing Ayurveda, because you would take the opposite quality. You will balance cold by using warm. But if you say, oh, why not? Okay, I'll go and I'll eat some more ice cream, you will just have added more of the same quality, and you're going to create an imbalance just like that. So you always want to balance with opposite qualities, and that's why the gunas are organized by pair of opposites. So now let's jump in the subject of today, how our body and mind respond to seasonal changes. There are two main time during the year where our body goes to it might not appear like that, but it's quite a drastic change in our body that you might not be aware of. At the end of the summer, beginning of fall, as the days are becoming shorter and the temperature are getting cooler, your body will switch from to a mode of anabolic mode, meaning it wants to accumulate energy in provision for the winter, to survive the winter. And this comes from thousands of years of evolution. Here I put a picture of a bear because bears, we know they eat, they become fat, and then they hibernate all winter. Well, to a lesser extent, that's what our body wants to do. So the response to shorter days and colder temperature will affect your hormone levels and metabolism. And this will mean that all of a sudden you will you will start perceiving some changes. You will start craving richer food and have a tendency to put on weight, which is natural this season. And maybe feel a bit heavier, and all these things that might be to some extreme for certain person. This is natural and it happens for everyone. The good thing with colder temperature and when you're starting to craving richer food is that as the weather is cooler, your body will bring more blood to your core to keep your organs warm. And this gives you an increased digestive power. So as you crave richer food, you can digest them better. So that's great. However, you can have a few imbalances, and this depends on the season where you live and also on your personal constitution. For example, if the season is dry, cold, light, and mobile with lots of wind, and if you have already more of a Vata constitution, you might be more sensitive to this type of weather, external factor affecting you, and you will maybe have Vata imbalances in the type of light, too much mobility, too much cold, and this would be possibly increase of anxiety, spaciness, scatteredness, insomnia, and things like that. If you are more of a Kapha person and already like you have a tendency toward more stability and heaviness and maybe naturally a bit more tendency towards lethargy instead of nervousness compared to Vata dosha. And if the season has these qualities and add that to your environment, then your imbalances might be more of the Kapha type and heavier mood, feeling lethargic, being tired, oversleeping, and maybe even depressed. We've all felt that at some point. I know for one period of my life, I remember each time there were clouds in the sky or a rainy day, I would feel like sleeping all day. And I did not really understand, why, but I knew that. It's gray and heavy outside, I want to sleep all day. It's this kind of effect that the weather and season can have on you. And already since your body is in an anabolic mode and wants to accumulate energy and preserve energy, so you're already slower in everything. If you add that with the weather and season, you can really become quite imbalanced, like a seasonal affective disorder. And this could have different aspects. Does it have more of a Vata aspect, more anxiety and scatteredness and unable to concentrate, or more of a Kapha aspect, lethargy, heaviness, depression? There's all sorts of things that can go on, and Ayurveda can help you understand what is going on and help you make better choice to balance that. But of course, if it's really extreme, you should be consulting someone, and there's help. You can have a light, special light, and things like that. But these are effects of the seasons can have and the reasons behind. So as I said before, likes increase, opposites balance. So what do you want to do? Depending on how you feel, depending on the season, it's really always an assessment about how you feel and what is the season bringing to you, or your life, or your job, or everything around. What are the qualities that are that come towards you, your diet as well, your lifestyle, and what do you feel, how you can balance yourself. With diet, if I have more of Vata imbalance, I will need to bring more stability, warmth, and comforting food. And with my diet, this would mean heavy, hearty, grounding food, like root vegetables are really good for that compared to leaf vegetables, which are lighter. And meat is a good time if you need some grounding. Soups, stews, nuts, dairies, avocado are all good examples. Comfort food, really, if you want to bring some grounding and things like that. If you have too much lightness and Vata imbalance, that's what you want. On the opposite side, though, if you have too much of heaviness and lethargy and you feel a bit depressed with the season, that's not what you need. Comfort food, you should find comfort other ways. You don't want, like, if you already feel heavy and depressed, you don't want to add to these qualities, more of these qualities to your body with what you eat. And in that case, you want more stimulating qualities, light qualities. And this you bring with spicy food, lots of vegetables, above ground vegetables is good. Citrus fruits, very stimulating. Vinegar, spices, things that are light. If you feel weighted down, too much rain or fluids and stuff, you want dry things. And popcorn, that's a good season if when it's wet and you feel weighted down, things like that. So you bring opposite qualities with your diet, and you can do the same with your lifestyle. Again, it depends how you feel and what you need. When you need to bring more stability, warmth, and comfort, well, then maybe you should lay back a little bit from your very active social agenda and just come back home, take a cup of hot cocoa, a good book, and a heavy blanket, and this might be what you need and what will comfort you and what will make you feel better. Just staying home might be what you need. But if on the contrary, you feel like you're starting to withdraw socially and starting to feel like you only want to sleep and feel heavier and just more lethargic and possibly depressed, then that's the contrary you want to do. You don't want a heavy blanket with a hot cocoa. You want movement. Go outside. If it's only for 5 minutes, take deep breath of fresh air. And going outside is good for everyone. Every day a little bit would be good for everyone, but particularly when you start feeling weighted down by the season. Fresh air, it's light, it's stimulating. Exercise. Now this season, this fall season, winter and spring, it's the perfect time for intense exercise. It's much better to do intense exercise when temperature is cool and then when you need this kind of movement than when it's hot in the summer, and then you run the risk of overheating. But running, muscle building, dance, it's great this season, especially if you feel towards the lethargic state. And if you see the sun, it's still present, but we know gray days are ahead. Soak it up for a few minutes every day. The back of your head or the midsection, if you can, just through clothes. It's really good for your mental health and health in general. And it's a good season for socializing, great season for socializing. So do that too if you feel weighted down by the season. Now that we've gone through fall and winter, depending on your imbalances, you know more what to do. Now you've all been more balanced all season, but now spring is coming around the corner and different things can happen, because this is the second time during the year, end of summer, beginning of fall, your body switches to anabolic mode. You want to preserve energy. In the spring, possibly before you even realize, your body knows that the days are getting longer and the temperature warmer, and it's gonna change it to metabolic, to catabolic, metabolic and catabolic mode, meaning, okay, all this energy accumulated, now we need to spend it. And if you spend months eating rich, comforting food, and you've gained a bit of weight, then your body, when it changes like that, it renders your blood rich and thick. And that means different types of imbalances. You can start having mucus congestions and allergies, and your liver that has to process all this thick blood, you can create a liver congestion, like all this rich food that you've eaten during the cold months. This can lead to liver congestion. Also, as the weather, beginning of spring might not be problematic right away, but as the temperature becomes warmer, your body will send blood more towards the extremities to keep you cool. And this means lesser digestive power, especially in the summer. That's when you don't have that much of an appetite if it's super hot. That's the reason. There's less blood to the core, less digestive power, and you want to eat a lighter food. So in spring season, the type of imbalance will depends, again, of your constitution, of what is the weather doing outside, etc. But the type of kapha imbalances would be more like mucus congestion. You know, kapha is made out of earth and water. So like all this richness that comes out, and mucus congestion, a lot of you blow your nose all the time, allergy, and also sluggish digestion could be the type of imbalances that you could have. And because your liver might be overwhelmed by all this rich blood, that could mean also allergies, again, rashes, skin rashes, and more irritable moods. So these are the types of imbalances that you see for spring season. And for the diet, then that is why you want to adjust the diet with the season. That's that's something that Ayurveda feels very strong about, to really maintain balance. So now that the environment has changed, your body is acting differently. You want to maintain balance. Now you don't want the comfort food. You really want to continue. If you had this tendency towards heaviness during the winter, you would still want to eat light. Now you want to eat even lighter, like above ground vegetables, sprouts, leaf vegetables, and light food, light and drying food. Also, lots of spices, not too many if you start having heat sign, if pitta is acting up. But if really you feel congested, go strong with spices, ginger, cardamom, cayenne, black pepper, etc. Cardamom is known in Ayurveda as the mucus destroyer, so it tells you something there. Also, bitter food. Bitter food are the bitter taste. There's 6 tastes in Ayurveda, and sweet, sour, salty, bitter, pungent, and astringent. And tastes are better for certain doshas, certain tastes for certain doshas. And bitter, astringent food are great for pitta and kapha. And pungent taste, like spiciness, is very good for kapha dosha, but it's not good for pitta. So you just have to assess for yourself which taste should I increase. But bitter food are very good. They cleanse the blood. They are very cleansing taste, and they help liver get decongested. They are cholagogue, meaning they kind of squeeze the liver, get the bile out, improve digestion, peristalsis, etc. And astringent food, the astringent taste is less a taste in itself than a sensation. If you eat something astringent, your throat becomes dry and you almost have difficulty swallowing. And this taste is really good for drying up. So don't do it too much if you have dryness. But for spring season, if you have a lot of mucus and things like that, that's excellent. So things like cranberries, pomegranate juice, beans and lentils, legumes are astringent in general. And something like dandelion is both bitter and astringent, and it's really good for spring, for example. Lifestyle-wise, you want to keep being active, go outside and breathe fresh air. And going outside really helps you just keep in sync with the season, even if it's just a little bit every day. Again, still a good season for intense exercise, because as we go towards summer and pitta is going to become more aggravated, you will want to switch towards cooler types of exercise or less intense. But in the spring, it's still very good. Soak up the sun and socialize. So same recommendation really for lifestyle as for in spring as it was for winter and fall if you had kapha imbalances. Now, summer imbalances. Now we've gone through spring and we survived it, and now we're going to summer. And in summer, there's different types of imbalances, and as the weather gets warmer and hot, pitta, which has been totally fine in the fall and winter, the cool weather is usually good for them, that may be acting more. And pitta is very, very much relates a lot to the liver. So if there's liver congestion, if there's liver overwhelm, you're gonna see all sorts of pitta issues of heat, rashes, eruptions, inflammation, and also emotions such as anger and irritability. We've all known that person that just can't control their temper, especially when it's hot, like hot temper. That's pitta, really, right there. And if you've taken care of your liver in the spring, because you know that you need to do that and increase bitter foods and things like that, you'll get to summer and everything is going to be much easier. But if you haven't, and your liver is congested from all this rich food that you eat during the winter, and then maybe you've continued during the spring and you didn't really take time to cleanse a little bit, then you'll get in summer and you'll really feel the heat. So there can be all sorts of imbalances like that. Vata, which was really good all spring, like the seasons becoming warmer. So Vata, which has tendency towards cold, feels good. Now, the imbalance that might start to appear is dry. If the summer is very dry or very hot and the heat is drying, And things like constipation or dry skin, dry hair might be some kind of imbalances that you'll see. Diet-wise, you want to, again, use opposite qualities. So for the summer, really what you want is cooling, soothing foods and drink. Here, a cucumber salad, because cucumber is one of the best cooling food for pitta. When pitta is aggravated, cucumber is great. Other things like, again, still leaf vegetables are really good. Melons, cilantro, fennel bulb, or even fennel spice is not too hot. Seasonal berries, really good for pitta dosha, and hibiscus and mint. I have a recipe for hibiscus and mint recipe at the end, and it's really good because both are refrigerant. You want to bring some cooling qualities to your diet, but you also want to limit mostly to bring too much heat with your diet. So red meat is very heating. Wine and alcohol in general are very heating. So you want to limit that. I know, like summer barbecues, it's kind of fun to have a barbecue with friends and maybe drink a cup of wine, but it's actually the worst time of the year to do that. And it's fine to some extent, but know that it really brings in some heat. Wine is much better Ayurvedically in the winter than it is in the summer. Spices, summer is not really the time to use lots of spices. So you can limit that. And bitter foods and astringent food are still very good during the summer because these tastes are cooling. Sweet taste is also cooling. I did not include that, but sweet is, in Ayurveda, it's not the sugary sweet, is really everything that is building and nourishing. So dairies and things like that would be also cooling and good, as long as you have the digestive power to do that. When it gets super hot, keep your meals light. Really, that's a good advice. Lifestyle wise, limit sun exposure in the summer. And from your intense regimen, maybe that you've had for the season from fall to spring, now it's maybe the time to switch to just walking or swimming or going by the water. Even just dipping your feet in the water will have a very positive result on pitta instead of running and very intense exercise that's just gonna add up this heating quality that you want to maintain low for the summer. And if you do run or do intensive exercise, better do it early in the morning or in the evening, of course, to limit overheating. And of course, drink lots of fluids to prevent the dry aspect of the season and keep Vata balanced, because Vata will have tendency towards becoming imbalanced towards fall. And if you spend the whole summer, it's always like a result of the previous season. If you maintain yourself balanced for one season, you'll have much less trouble the next season. But if you've had like a systemic dryness all summer, you don't drink enough, etc., then Vata might be really acting up in the fall, the following fall. And that would be recommendations for summer to cool down pitta. So just to illustrate really these three different seasons, and what kind of comfort you can bring to yourself, it really varies. So fall and winter, something that illustrates comfort for me is a warm cup of cocoa. And here with any type of meals that you want with cocoa and some spices, because it's gonna bring some heat and it's going to bring some stimulation. If you have a lot of vata imbalance, go easy on spices. If you need stimulation, be generous with the spices. So the fall, winter hot chocolate would be a good comforting thing, I think. For spring, spring salad is what really will help your body get in the groove and deal with things. And here I chose arugula because arugula has some spiciness. So it's kind of stimulating and bitter and has this lightness that is really good. And white beans, astringent and light as well. And for the summer, you want to stay cool. So summer Kool-Aid with hibiscus and mint lemonade. Both are refrigerant. They really, like, if you drink them cool, that's gonna cool you down, but their energetics of these plants are also cooling. So it's really gonna help pitta. And that's really easy to do. You infuse in a quart of like a mason jar of, you put a tablespoon of hibiscus leaf, a tablespoon of mint leaves. You add boiling water. You let steep for 5 to 10 minutes. You strain and then you sweeten to taste and cool down with ice. Put that in your pitcher and you're good to go. And it's really good. And everybody will appreciate that. So in conclusion, really, the seasons affect us in ways that we might not be aware because of internal things that happen in our body, but also just because the qualities of our environment are changing and our body responds to that. And everyone responds to it differently. And everyone has their own challenges and struggles, but it's really, that is what happens. Our body is really great. Like, it does its thing. We don't even have to think about. But what we do consciously might, like the little bit of consciousness, from the time the food enters your mouth, you have no power over what your body does with it. But consciously, you can decide which type of food you'll take or what kind of lifestyle you will have. And this will either help your body deal with all it has to do, or it can hinder it. And that's what we really don't want to do. So pay attention how you feel, pay attention of what's going on around you, the qualities of your environment, and you should be able to just make choices that are more seasonally appropriate and hopefully bring some comfort and make the seasonal transition easy on yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Golly. I always get so inspired during your presentations because it makes sense with how we naturally go with the flow of the seasons, but unknowingly that we're actually doing our own Ayurvedic practice with our lifestyle.
Yeah.
I've been craving a lot of like warm soups, and so I made like a pumpkin curry soup, and I like roasted a pumpkin, and that was the bowl. And just like wearing comfy sweaters and
yeah, it's exactly that. It's why Ayurveda is really the natural way of doing things that we don't necessarily think. And it's like something that is with you, but that sometimes we forget. And also, we used, like our ancestors used to eat much more seasonally because that's what was available. But now you can find strawberries in January, and you can eat the same thing all year long if you want. But that's not necessarily good because we don't have a tendency to adapt. and that's what's make us just feel better overall.
Right. Yeah. And you might not even realize that you're out of balance, until, you start diving into this and you're like, oh, that's why I've been feeling this way. And I actually wanted to do that for my body. And look at that. That's like exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
Super neato.
Yeah, imbalances you might not realize, and you might think, oh, I'm that type of person, I have that type of digestion, but it's actually not necessarily what you should be. It's an imbalance, and over time they get worse and they can develop into disease.
Definitely. But that's why they can come in and see you and get their health in alignment so they can live happy and healthy lives.
Yeah, that's what I do. Like, I just help people. Truly what I do is I help people understand their constitution and their tendencies, and then guide them a little bit. But the idea is really for everyone to be able to make their own decisions that are going to be better for themselves. That's my goal. And I know it's how I discovered Ayurveda, and it really helped me a ton. And I understand so many things that I was not conscious about. So yeah.
And it's helped you thrive also learning this, and then you've been able to bring that knowledge and expertise to your clients. It's wonderful.
Yeah, that's what I like.
Oh. Jennifer said awesome in the chat. So and then we had someone else message me privately. She had to hop off but was going to watch the rest of it on the replay. So for those of you that are watching live on Facebook, we will have this on our YouTube channel, and we thank you for tuning in. But if there's any questions, we'd love to hear any questions here in the Zoom meeting. I'm going to check the Facebook live stream real quick, see if anyone popped in and had a question. Oh, we just had someone joining in. Welcome. We are at the Q&A portion of the meeting. If you have any questions, feel free to enter them in the chat box or unmute yourself, and we'll be happy to get that. Oh, good question.
For my program, the whole year, it's very affordable. I would say it's $8 per month. Yeah.
Really?
It's a program. It's not so much a self-paced program, because when you register, you get modules, and you get module every season according to Celtic calendar, which I have here. So there's the 4 seasons that we know, and the mid seasons. So you get a module just to keep you in sync. And then every month you get a module lesson in Ayurveda. So different theme, and you get some seasonal recipes, and the idea is that you follow that throughout the year. Like, you receive that and you're kind of independent, but you still have access to the chat. You can ask me questions, and once a month I do live session to answer questions, or just do a little presentation, or just chat with people.
That is amazingly affordable. That's like what people pay for a Netflix subscription a month. And so they have this full access to learning about Ayurveda, but also helping them thrive. And then they have that access to you when they have questions. That is amazing.
Yeah, well, I like to think that Ayurveda should be available for everyone, and it's my way of doing it. So
Well, you are so wonderful, and the community is so lucky to have you. And I know I'm going to be hopping on the program because that sounds amazing, and I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, I would be very glad to have you, and anyone that wants to join, you can tell around you. It's kind of a newish program. It's the second year that I'll be doing that. I mounted it last year, but yeah, I'm just gonna make it better now. And it's basic principles of Ayurveda, but you get to do that over the whole year, and you learn along with the seasons. That's the
Which is invaluable. And then people are able to take that information even past the year. And I'm going to put it in the chat box here. I found the bookings for that. And Practice Better is a really great platform too.
yeah.
So that's wonderful that it's through that system. So I'm going to post that in the live chat as well. So yeah, for a Netflix subscription, $8 a month type, you get all this amazing information and expertise at your fingertips.
Yeah, that's going to be useful for really the rest of your life. Ayurveda stays with you and you learn, and it's useful for you and your family. That's
Thank you so much.
and it's great that right now, because at the end of the month, it's Samhain season, Halloween and all that. And traditionally in the Celtic culture, it was the end of the year, beginning of the new year, the end of the light season, beginning of the dark season. So it's why you can register in the program anytime during the year, and it lasts 1 year, but this is kind of the beginning, the official beginning of the program.
So that's great. This is perfect timing. So folks, you can get right in there. Samhain, at the end of the month, and just start fresh and get all this great info for only $8 a month. I'm just so blown away.
Yeah, well, I'm glad if the more people that can participate, the better. So that's my
Without a doubt, yeah. And that's why we thank presenters like you for taking the time and effort putting these presentations together and communicating with the community. And it's invaluable, and I know that our customers appreciate you as well. And thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, and I appreciate Marlene. Yeah, did I hear some question?
Oh, there might have been an echo on my end because I think I had the live stream up. Sorry.
Yeah, and I appreciate Marlene's. That's where I go for most of my little herbs. They have an amazing bulk section, and that's yeah. Thank you for this opportunity.
Of course. And we would love to have you back for 2023. So for those of you still on the call, there is a little survey that's for like the end of the year survey. So I can get an idea of topics and ideas that you want to learn about. And we thank you for tuning in.
Thank you. Bye. See you in December.
Yes, see you in December. Yes, December 8th. We have another fantastic class with you.
Okay.